I want to show and demonstrate the importance of the pelvic movement patterns in your training, both in the saddle and out of the saddle. Now, the walk is a 4-beat movement, and the rider's pelvis should stay in tune with the movement of the horse's hind legs. In slow motion, you can see that as the horse is stepping forward and underneath the rider and rounding his back, the motion of the pelvis is in tune with the horse's hind legs. Now, if you're a rider that blocks, leans forward, isn't relaxed, isn't tuned in, then the walk is the first pace that you're actually going to ruin. Now, as the horse pushes off through the hindquarters, you can see that the rider as the horse is rounding his back, the rider's moving forward with it. Now, you can train this in various ways. You can use an Anki machine, as you can see here, and the Anki is just a mechanical machine that will rotate your pelvis, loosen up your back, help you train your core, and help you isolate, I call it independent isolation of your seat from your hands and from your legs. Now, the Anki is a very easy machine because it doesn't buck, bolt, trip, and you can see from the front view it's a very circular motion. It's not the exact motion that you have on the horse, but it's a really good simulation. You have to be able to isolate the rotation, tilt, forwards and backwards of the pelvis from the shoulders and from the lower leg. So you can see again from behind, we'll let the legs go, there's a lot of wobble, bring the legs back in, as in closer to the horse, and you can control that motion. Now, if you're in tune with the Anki, your body will go with it. Of course, it will throw you off and throw you out of balance, but if you learn to ride the Anki, learning to ride the walk becomes much easier. Now, not everybody has an Anki, so you can do it up against a wall, just bend your knees, and one of the movement patterns I train in my program is using a ball. The big ball is an excellent tool, but here you just tilt your pelvis forwards and backwards, sideways, and in a rotational movement, isolating the movement from the shoulders and from the knees. Now, in slow motion here with no hold through the lower leg or the hamstrings, you can see when the horse is stepping through from behind, the rider's seat just follows the horse's back, and in very slow motion, it's interesting with this little video, if you watch when the horse puts his front legs down, just as he puts it there, he lifts his head. This horse is actually pulling through his front legs rather than pushing through his hind legs. Just an interesting side comment. As he pulls there, the head goes up, and again there, more so on the outside leg, so he might have a little bit of soreness somewhere. But the rider's just sitting in tune with the horse's walk and feeling the beat, and certainly got the control and the movement through the pelvis and the lower back to be able to maintain that rhythm with the horse. Here the rider's got the toes have dropped down, hasn't engaged the upright seat, and a little bit of a tilt forward with her body. And you can see now that the counter movement of the upper body with the hip has come in here into the trot, just rising a little bit too high, lifting with her elbows and just losing some of that rhythm, but good solid stable lower leg. Probably rising a little bit too high and slightly behind the movement, and that's why she's tilted forward. The centre of gravity has changed from being through the shoulder, the hip and the knees to slightly forward. Here again in slow motion, we can see the movement of the horse's hindquarters in direct relationship to the movement of the rider's pelvis. The more times that you see this and view what actually happens underneath what you're feeling, you'll be able to see the importance of the pelvic movements.